Welcome back. Dialogues focusing on the fight against gender-based violence have been taking centre stage this Women's Month. Activists are calling for the fight against the scourge to be intensified. Cases of such violence are being reported across the country. The Gauteng Community Safety Department has hosted victims of gender-based violence as part of its Women's Month program. I'm now joined by Merita Ground, the director of the department's Gender-Based Violence and Femicide Coordinating Unit, and she's pleading with the criminal justice system to understand that when it works with violated women, it's working in a crime scene. She joins me live now for this conversation. Merita, thank you so much for your time this evening. When it comes to the scourge of gender-based violence in South Africa, many would argue that it's reached epidemic forms. And as a result of that, we need a stronger criminal justice system that understands what the victim goes through during that course and understand the need for justice. What was shared during today's event, Merita?
So it was a two-day event because the Department of Community Safety wants to reach every corridor within Gauteng. Today we have hosted two of the last corridors. We want the criminal justice system to understand and respect that when a victim has come forward and asked to be assisted through the process, that they must come to the fore and give their best professional and technical ability. Because when I was violated as a victim, I was not alone. There was somebody that perpetrated and made my body a crime scene. And we are appealing to every part of the criminal justice value system, from investigation to prosecution to sentencing, to understand that when you deal with a case, you are dealing with a person with a specific case. And we don't want women to speak out and not to receive the justice that they are meant to receive.
Yeah. A lot of times when you're speaking about the process of the criminal justice system, it even begins with the SAPS and the way and the manner in which the victim or the survivor at the time is actually treated. Not treated as if by them reporting that there's something that they're doing wrong themselves and actually receive the help that they require, right up until, as you say, that they find their day in court. But we realize that even finding your day in court is becoming more and more difficult because we've got such instances and issues such as DNA backlog that we have to contend with.
So currently we've heard nationals speaking on the DNA backlog, and we appreciate the fact that it is been trickled down to provincial level. We appreciate what Gauteng, Department of Justice, National Prosecuting Authority and SAPS is doing. However, we are saying that what we are doing is not being done at the pace that it's needed to be done. If this has been declared a pandemic, if 1 out of 7 women within South Africa body has become a crime scene, then our response should respond to those 1 out of 7 crime scenes.
Yeah. Do you think that at present that a woman's body who has been violated, as you say, is actually treated like a crime scene and with the respect and thoroughness of investigating a crime scene?
Unfortunately, we would not be having such interventions with women if it was treated as a crime scene. We would not have had the need to bring victims and survivors forward to plead their case with the criminal justice system. So no, our victims are not being treated the way they should be treated to become the ultimate survivors that they are meant to be. Yeah. And therefore, we moved beyond just the reasoning that women are withdrawing cases. And we're bringing cases to the criminal justice system that are actively in the cycle. And we are saying, what are you doing? Again, from the point of investigation until the point of sentencing.
Yeah. Where do you think the gaps are, Merita? I mean, what are the real challenges that have been expressed, which in many instances either prevent a woman from seeing justice served or allow for justice to take place 5, 6, even 10 years whereafter the perpetrators violated that woman? What's the issue here?
So I think when you look at South Africa's National Strategic Plan, and the response on gender-based violence, we are on the right track. We are able to look at the psychotherapy and the support, the mental, the psychosocial, and the physical in terms of sustenance, in food, etc. for the family. But what we have found is that if we do not send a message to the perpetrator, then this will continue. If we do not set a precedent within our country to stop this onslaught on the life of women and children, then there will be no incentive to stop violating the body of a woman, the body of a child. And that is what we are pleading with. When we've done this program over these 2 days, we have worked with 23 shelters prior to this. We have academics on board that will bring out a research paper because we want to move beyond just training. We want our criminal justice sector professionals to understand that my crime scene affects the people that I live with. It affects the choices that I'm making going forward. And we need you to take your place to help us making choices that made us believe that you've heard us, that you have put in place a system to make me the most credible witness. When I wanted to withdraw this case, that you've made sure you have sent me to psychosocial therapy so that I can bring up my strength to fight whoever has violated me. We want you to know our name, our surname, our circumstances when you as prosecutor take the stand. We want you, judge, we want you, magistrate, to not just quote case law, but be able to look at me as the central of my case and give justice to me. Let the perpetrator, you ask what are the missing link. Let perpetrators understand that South Africa said enough is enough.
Merita, you know, you're speaking to the survivor and those that have been victims, and you made reference to how many of them are finding themselves in positions where they are withdrawing the cases. What have been the reasons that have been expressed for many of the survivors to actually actively choose to withdraw these cases? Because in amongst the criminal justice system playing a role, it is also the survivor which must play her role in being able to see justice met. So why is it that we're finding that a lot of these survivors are choosing to withdraw their cases?
I'm going to talk to you in the space of a current pandemic. So if I need to survive, I need to be able to sustain my life. We have heard this past week what the unemployment numbers in South Africa are. When we have read, we have seen papers and research studies that have shown that women has been the most vulnerable and the most hit by COVID, because we take on the caring role and we work in industries that are mostly informal. So if I am then dependent on the perpetrator to make sure that my kids have something to eat at night, then it is so much easier for me to withdraw the case. If I do not have the support to sustain the life of my children, I withdraw the case. If my family, because of social, traditional, religious stances, believe that if I leave my marital home, I have become a failure, then I would rather be a failure in my corner and I would withdraw the case. If community continue to victim blame and put me at the center of the violation, then I would rather withdraw the case. If the criminal justice system will let my case go on anything between 1 month and 6 years, and my employer are getting tired of me going to court cases, I would rather withdraw my case. And we are not blind to the fact that some women withdraw the case because I am moving to another partner. But we are saying that if our criminal justice system sent a strong enough sentencing out, if the criminal justice system, from investigation, our country has procedures and regulations that says when you interact with somebody that's been violated, either by the Sexual Offences Act, the Criminal Offences Act, or the Domestic Violence Act, you must make sure that this victim and her family system are connected with support systems. I withdraw because you have not connected me with a support system.
Merita, you've just simply given us a moment of introspection and reflection as a country, especially to understand the experience as well as the plight of many women who have fallen prey to some of these perpetrators that you're speaking to, some of these perpetrators that have initiated gender-based violence against women. So thank you so much for your time this evening. Merita Ground, who's from the Gauteng Community Safety Department.